Welcome back to another episode of the DCA podcast. Today's topic is going to be on everything female nutrition for Ramadan. I'm going to be talking about how women can optimize their nutrition during this month, support your energy levels, hormone balance, and just overall well-being whilst you are fasting during this month. So we're going to be covering key nutrients that you need to consider as a female fasting, how to balance your hormones and just optimize and avoid energy crashes throughout your day, hydration and electrolyte strategies because your hormones do impact that depending on where you're at in your cycle, and common mistakes I hope that you don't make during Ramadan so you can just feel at your best. And I'm going to give you an ideal meal timing plan to optimize your energy and recovery during this month. So let's talk about how women have different energy requirements as opposed to men based on their hormonal fluctuations during their menstrual cycle. So if you are fasting in your luteal phase, you're going to find that pretty difficult because there's going to be cravings, there's going to be PMS symptoms, and having a healthy nutrient-dense diet is going to help you at least overcome some of those problematic symptoms that you might experience. And progesterone and estrogen shifts affect us in so many ways. Water retention, mood, our sleep. So especially if you are coming into Ramadan in your luteal phase, then that's just something we're going to help you optimize. Iron and calcium requirements, especially if you have quite heavy menstrual cycles and periods, are something that we're going to need to factor in because that is also going to affect a lot of symptoms within you, like your mood and your energy, if we're not prioritizing that. So the goal is to support your energy levels, to preserve your muscle mass, because fasting is going to be a catabolic process, right? So we need to have the amino acids available in protein to help you support that and just help balance your hormones as best as possible. We all know that if we consume a very highly processed, sugar-laden, low fiber, low protein, just carbohydrate rich and probably fat rich, but in processed fats and like junk food, then that's just really not going to help you feel at your best, especially if you are training and you're trying to be consistent in the gym. Now, this isn't about how to structure your training during Ramadan. I'm not that professional for you. I'm the person that's going to focus on your nutrition aspect of things. So, best foods for suhoor, which is your pre-dawn meal. Now, this needs to be nutrient dense and filling because you're going to need to get that energy in for the day. So, protein, healthy fats, slow digesting carbs, and prioritizing your hydration. Those are kind of the 4 areas that I want you to work on. So let's start with protein. We're going to be focusing on eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, anything we can do to maintain your muscle mass and to keep you full and satiated. That is where so many people fall down and feel hungry all the time, is because it really lacks protein. And if I can get as much protein into your meals during Ramadan as possible, then I'm going to be happy, and so are you. So healthy fats, avocado, nuts, chia seeds to help just stabilize your blood sugars. And we're going to be focusing on slower digesting carbs, not just quick sugar hits. So we're talking oats, quinoa, complex carbs like whole wheat bread for sustainable energy. Hydration, again, like I said, we need to focus on it. Water and foods high in electrolytes. So coconut water, and also veggies and fruits like cucumbers and watermelon, things like that you might have access to just to help keep that hydration status up. Because for a lot of people, they really struggle with the water aspect of Ramadan and not being able, because it's such a habitual thing. I know that food is as well, but hydration and thirst can really be a difficult thing for us to try and manage if we're not used to it. So avoid high sugar foods, refined carbs, too much caffeine, which is going to be a diuretic. So you're going to lose water by consuming a lot of those types of drinks and caffeinated beverages. Okay, so that's all. Let's focus on iftar when you break the fast. An optimal replenishment. So your first meal after fasting should rehydrate and replenish nutrients, and it should provide you with that sustained energy that you need from a balanced meal. So we're going to start with the 2 dates and water or coconut water for just gently bringing your blood sugar up, because if you were to hit it pretty hard with a lot of carbohydrates and simple sugars, oh my gosh, that's going to spike a lot, and your insulin response to that is going to be quite large. So let's get up there slowly. And then once you've had that, gently brought your blood sugars up, we can then have our balanced meal of lean protein. So chicken, fish, lentils. If you are in your luteal phase, you might want a more rich or fattier proteins. That's absolutely fine. So we just need to get the amino acids in to help with your muscle loss prevention, right? We don't want you being catabolic. because of the fasting. So vegetables and fiber, leafy greens, legumes for your digestion, and also like healthy fats. So we're talking like nuts, olive oils, avocado, things that you can get in to just, again, help focus on hormonal balance and supporting that, because fats are critical to hormone production. And as women, we need to have plentiful supply of them in our diets. And when you go low fat, you're going to have issues with your immune system and hormone production. So that's just something that we need to consider. And eating too quickly, especially around Ramadan and like the timings of it, it can cause bloating and fatigue. So try to break your fast slowly. I know that hunger is probably going to catch up on you and feel quite intense potentially at first. Some might be okay with it because you're teaching your body, but some might just find that quite difficult, especially if you aren't maybe used to it all the time. But I'm assuming you maybe have experience of Ramadan, so you've been through it. I'm just here to help you optimize some of your choices during these meals. So to optimize digestion, energy, and recovery, I want you to focus on these 4 things. Iftar, so sunset, breaking your fast with dates, water, and then followed gently by your balanced complex meal of carbs, fats, and protein. And then post iftar, like 1 to 2 hours later, if you still need something to meet your nutrient needs and you're trying to hit targets and get the energy in, maybe you're training still during it, then let's have a lighter meal or another snack to meet your needs and your requirements there, whatever that could be. And then within your hydration window, I want you to drink water consistently to prevent being dehydrated. And maybe bring in some coconut water and electrolytes, like I said, just to maintain that water balance, especially as a female, fluctuating with sodium, magnesium, and potassium related to your cycle. So for pre-dawn, eat a slower digesting protein-rich meal to sustain your energy. And then it's not just going to be quick hits, crashes. I know it may be tempting to kind of have access to a lot of sweet foods that are highly palatable, but again, that's just not going to make you feel at your best. So women are more prone to dehydration due to these hormonal fluctuations. Estrogen is actually better for sodium retention and water balance versus in the last 2 weeks of your cycle in your luteal phase. So maybe prioritize that depending on where you're at in your cycle and what day you're on now listening to this. So sodium, potassium, magnesium, they're crucial to prevent fatigue and headaches, and that might be something you're going to be affected by, especially with fasting. Drink at least 2 to 3 between iftar and suhoor. And like you can incorporate herbal teas and hydrating foods, like I mentioned previously, to just help as much as possible to maintain that balance. So common mistakes and how to avoid them: skipping suhoor. Some people do that. Leads to energy crashes, and again, you're not going to be meeting your body's needs, so it's going to get it from somewhere, which means it's going to break down your muscle to achieve that. We don't want that. Eating too fast or too much at iftar, so can cause bloating, digestive discomfort. It's a lot of overwhelm for your GI tract to handle all of that in one go. So building it up gradually, smaller meals might be easier. Just be conscious of how you respond to meal sizes and volume. And not eating enough protein, especially for women's metabolism and your muscle health. Let's try to prioritize that as much as possible. And again, access to sweet foods, fried foods, it might be quite plentiful for you. So let's just prioritize our blood sugar stabilization and not allow such spikes and crashes based on these types of foods. And I know that Ramadan is a time for reflection and nourishment, and with the right nutrition strategy, you can feel energized and get through it in feeling just good about yourself and nourishing your body with foods as intended. So supporting your hormones and feeling energized will just allow you, whilst you're fasting, which is already a difficult experience for most of us, to just show up in your day, because you've probably got other things to do, right? You've got to be getting on with other things in your life. This is just to further add such a beautiful experience to the month and to have that journey of inner discovery and spiritual health for you and to fill that cup. So let's look at food as a way of doing that, and not just as a way to be dopamine hunting when we have access to it, and to just allow those quick hits and crashes. Hope this helps at all. If you have any further questions, please reach out and I'll be happy to help answer them. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.